Request everyone to kindly settle down. So we should start the next session on multidisciplinary education and employability skills by Mr. Rajshekhar sir in a few minutes.
Okay. So I think now I have seen activate windows. That should not be seen. I've seen a message like this, activate windows. That means it is not authenticated version. Yeah. So as an education institution, we should have only licensed versions wherever we use. Yeah. See, so far what I have done in the first session, just I have set the tone for the workshop. So it need not be the content what I am supposed to teach, but initially all this was not there in my presentation. Since I am coming in the morning, then I have revised my presentation. Initially my presentation was afternoon, then I thought that somebody must have taught all these things in the morning. Accordingly, I planned my session. But since I am taking in the morning, I wanted to give you overview of everything. So now all of us got convinced that we need to have multidisciplinary education. Do you agree?
Yes.
This is one consensus we have. Number one, multidisciplinary education. Number two, multidisciplinary education will enhance employability. Number two, multidisciplinary education will enhance employability. Number three, multidisciplinary education will help the students to do better research. Because the research also, I think they can use the learnings of different disciplines and they can do a better research. A political science student doing political science research, a political science student having some PG diploma in statistics and doing research in political science, that will be always better. So they can do better work. Okay. So opportunities of doing research are enhanced and improved through holistic and multidisciplinary education. Then I think the holistic word is also there in NEP 25. Okay, next. The multidisciplinary education refers to a learning approach that integrates knowledge, skills, concepts, and methodologies from multiple academic disciplines. Now you tell me, what is the purpose of higher education? After having discussed it so much, what is the purpose of higher education? Why do you Fine. You can be comfortable. Yes, please. What is the purpose of higher education? All of us have been into higher education for the last few decades. Now I am asking, what is the purpose of higher education? Holistic development, number one. Employability, number two. Employability, holistic development. Number three. Enhancing knowledge. Okay, number three. Number four. Employability, yeah, somebody told. Where are the life skills? Life skills. You are speaking about employability skills. But which part of your curriculum taking care of life skills? Life skills also equally important. There are a lot of students who are gold medalists of the universities are failing in the life. They cannot handle the emotions. Emotions. How to handle emotions. And one more important thing is, when I was telling about lot of reforms, anybody can go to any course. Anybody can study anything. We require lot of career counselors for the college. Otherwise, it will be a big disaster. The career counselor should be able to guide the student properly, because for the students, for the sake of, since there is an option, people will keep on jumping from one course to other course. I think that this program requires a lot of career counselors. At least half a dozen career counselors. There should be a kind of a career counseling cell. You have to open for the registration of the courses. Before that, mandatorily they should consult a counselor. That something like that should happen. then only we should be able to make the difference. Otherwise, it becomes other failure story because people keep on taking the courses where we are not competent. It emphasizes holistic learning experience, understanding, and the ability to tackle complex real-world problems. The real-world problems are not coming from one discipline. Real-world problems come from multiple disciplines. See, for example, you are a faculty of statistics or history. Tomorrow you may get a phone call that I am from CBI, I am coming from CBI, and I am calling from CBI. They wanted to make you digital arrest, and they wanted to capture money. Or you are from Telugu literature, but you need to make some wise investment of some cash. You should know what is bond, what is mutual fund, what is share market, what is a dividend. You should know that. Otherwise, since you are Telugu teacher, you cannot say that that is not relevant to you. See, most of the life problems comes from multiple disciplines. There is something called economic offenses. Recently, there was a movie called The Code. They are saying about legal education. We don't even know that which section is bailable, which section is not bailable, which crime is punishable, which act is punishable, which act is not punishable. We don't even know. Here we are PhDs.
Next year onwards, our final year students will be studying compulsory course on financial literacy.
Now you can also speak something about legal literacy.
Yes,
legal literacy also very important. Digital literacy.
Yeah.
Digital literacy we require. Digital literacy we require. Financial literacy we require. I think there are a lot of economic offenses. There are a lot of cyber crimes. Cyber crimes. I think we should know something about hacking, ethical hacking, and the password protection. How to protect password. How do we live our lives in this social media world? That requires a lot of inputs. Because this social media world, we require a lot of inputs. But unfortunately, we are unable to tell students about how to manage their emotions. Basically, the purpose of higher education, we can say, one is K for knowledge, S for skills, A for attitude, H for habits, K-A-S-H. K-A-S-H. K for knowledge, A for attitude, S for skill, H for habits, habituation. I think we should be able to influence the habits. We should be able to influence the habits. We should be able to influence their attitude, their knowledge, their skill. K-A-S-H. Knowledge, skill, aptitude, and habits. It aims to produce graduates who are flexible, innovative, and capable. If somebody is coming from a rigid academic structure, can they be flexible? Today we are not flexible because we have come from rigid structures. Today we are not flexible because we came from very rigid and conservative systems. Maybe it is family or society or education system. So because you are from university, for example, you are from commerce department. You are from commerce department. And your commerce department and management department will not speak to each other. Universities, they never speak to each other. Though 50% of the subjects are same, they never share workload, they never speak to each other. The same kind of a tendency you continue in your college where you are working. That is the legacy from where you have come. But if the student is coming from an open system, then it can be open. What I am trying to tell you is our education system, whatever we are in, that should resemble the society. Whatever complexities we have in the society, they reflect the complexities in the classroom, in the college. What we are trying to tell you is, let us break those kind of lines among the disciplines. So it aims to produce graduates who are flexible, innovative, and capable of adapting rapidly to the changing job market. So intradisciplinary, multidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary. Intradisciplinary is very simple, working within a single discipline. Political science is political science, history is history, economics is economics, commerce is commerce. That is intradisciplinary. Like civil is civil, mechanical is mechanical. Multidisciplinary, people from different disciplines working together, each drawing on their disciplinary knowledge. Cross-disciplinary, meaning one discipline from the perspective of the other discipline. Looking at the other discipline from the perspective of this discipline. That is the cross-discipline. Multidisciplinary is people from different disciplines. Interdisciplinary is integrating knowledge and methods from different disciplines using a real synthesis of approaches. Integrating the knowledge from something from there, for example, biotechnology is an interdisciplinary course. Biotechnology is a interdisciplinary course because it emerged from
Botany, zoology, chemistry.
54 subjects. But whereas management is a multidisciplinary subject because we borrow multiple subjects, concepts, and the subjects are as it is they are there. In management subject discipline, if you see, there is a subject called managerial economics, legal environment, business statistics, industrial management, operations research. So their subjects are not customized to management. The subjects as it is, you are studying. So that means the subject should be taught by a operations research for PhD. A statistics subject should be taught by a statistics professor. That is the difference between IIMs and non-IIMs. In non-IIMs, what happens? All the MBAs teach everything. Though there is a statistics department, we never call statistics professor to teach statistics course. We teach everything. But whereas in IIMs, they appoint people from ISI Kolkata, ISI Bangalore, they appoint statistics teachers and OR teachers. From IITs, they appoint computer science teachers, MIS and computer science. From NALSA, they appoint law professors. From communication, they appoint people from journalism and communication department. For English, they appoint English PhDs from CETL and University of Hyderabad or there. That is the reason why those IIMs are doing well. But our typical B schools, we wanted to teach everything because we are MBAs, nobody should get into our department. We should provide employment to our scholars. So once we start, we wanted to take care of our scholars, we wanted to take care of our children, we wanted to take care of ourselves at the cost of discipline. If somebody else is able to deliver better, you should invite them. Very simple. Okay. So this is what I think we should be able to do that. The transdisciplinary, creating a unity of intellectual frameworks beyond the disciplinary perspective. Okay, that is the transdisciplinary. I think that is finally what we need to understand is knowledge is one. Knowledge is one. That knowledge we are naming like physics, chemistry, mathematics, history, economics, political science. There is a concept called science without borders. After some point in time, you stick in the physics, MSc physics class. Suddenly, if you get into the class, you don't know whether that person is physics person or mathematics person. There is too much of maths. And if you look at statistics, more of maths. At some point in time, it's more of maths. If you go to data science, it is more of statistics. So we don't even know that which subject is what. I think the concepts are common everywhere. The same concept is applicable in multiple disciplines, right? So in the 21st century, complex global problems require solutions from diverse fields. I think the kind of problems what we are handling, one discipline is unable to address them. One discipline is unable to address the kind of problems what we are facing. That is why if you look at even software companies also, there are teams now, project teams, because the project cannot be handled by one specialist. There need multiple specialists. And when you are working with multiple specialists, you should know something about their domain also. Otherwise, it's very difficult to communicate with them. I am from one discipline, you are from one discipline, somebody else from some discipline. But we need to communicate in common language. That means I should know something about your subject, you should know something about my subject. So tomorrow, when you are going to work in multiple teams, you may have to understand others' jargon, others' language. So today I am able to connect to all of you because I am from multidisciplinary background. If I am not from multidisciplinary background, I will not be able to capture the requirements of everything. Most of the industrial problems are also multidisciplinary in nature. Traditional education models often focus narrowly on specific disciplines that give only a linear approach to the problem. But we require a non-linear approach to the problem. We are speaking something called out-of-box thinking, creativity, innovation, multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach. Industries today demand professionals who are not only experts in their field but also possess the ability to work across domains. This is what is the requirement of the market. They want all in one. They want all in one. Somebody who knows about other subjects. Okay. So jobs are no longer discipline specific. They may require hybrid skills. Jobs are no more single discipline. They require, for example, I am supposed to speak about NEP. So I should know multiple disciplines. Then only I can connect to all of them. I am supposed to speak about NIRF. I need to know everything, every discipline. Otherwise, I may not be able to speak something. I need to speak about NEP 2020. I need to understand about all the disciplines. So otherwise, I may not be, for example, day after tomorrow, I am going to speak something on research and society. So then I need to understand what is society. Otherwise, higher education society. I need to, what is the impact of higher education on society? Then I need to know the higher education and society. Multidisciplinary education provides foundation for versatility. Multidisciplinary education provides foundation for versatility. It improves cognitive flexibility. It improves cognitive flexibility. The ability to switch thinking between concepts enhances creativity and innovation via exposure to varied perspectives. Empowers students to tackle problems that don't fit neatly into one field. Equip learners with flexible skill sets suited to non-linear career paths. Foster inquiry, experimentation, and lifelong learning activities. See, for example, today, some BTech graduates are lyric writers, lyricists. Today, many lyricists are BTech and MTech. But they have not studied Telugu as a subject in their graduation. So they have studied their BTech. Somebody did their MTech. But how they are able to write such a wonderful song? It's a passion. It's a passion. But when somebody is experimenting with multiple subjects, who knows? I may develop interest in that subject. See, for example, I moved to MBA. But in my engineering final year, we have a course called Cost and Management Accounting. Something like CMA in my engineering. So that motivated me to get into MBA. That particular subject. Sometimes we don't know. A subject what you study in your undergraduation will motivate you to get into that area, and sometimes you may make that as a career. That as a career. That is where, let us give wider. See, for example, why I should choose HEC, why I should choose HEP, why I should choose EP. So I thought, EPP are better. But ideally speaking, what we are supposed to do, when somebody comes to college, they should, before taking the admission, you should run a orientation program. In a big auditorium, all the aspirants, whoever wanted to join St.Ann's college, let them come and sit there. And everybody speak about your subject, everybody speak about your program, everybody should speak about your program opportunities. Then give them some 3-4 days time. Let them then come to this. But today, blindly they are coming to the course without doing anything. Later they regret. And there is no way out. It's like a marriage. So once you get into the program, next 3 years, there is no way you can come out of it. Whether you like it or not, either you discontinue the program or continue the course. Nothing more. So that kind of a counseling, at school level there is no counseling, +2 level there is no counseling, undergraduate college there is no counseling. And I speak to so many people. Why are you doing this PG? No sir, I have written 5 PGs, I got admission, this I joined. That's what a lot of people will say in the university. Because their aim is not to study PG, their aim is to stay in the hostel in university. The purpose is that is where they write 5 PGs. And finally, they will not make any competitive exam, they land in PhD.
Will they get a job? Many university students are there. Will they get a job? They are in the university.
They are in the university. But sometimes, if they don't get the job, they land in academics.
Yes.
But they never had that focus. But they become better. Then they struggle. Students also will struggle. So what I am trying to say, we need to tell the students about various career opportunities. And you should also convince the students there are multiple subjects they can choose. But you should also be able to tell what would be the optimum combination and what are the strong combinations of which subject can go well with this subject, some kind of a orientation. You are not going to give the decision. You are only going to tell the prospects and strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, whatever you want, you can tell them, you stop there, let them take the decision. What we are trying to do is let them take an informed decision. Let them take informed decision. Right now, they are taking blind decisions. Okay. Foster inquiry, experimentation, lifelong learning attitude. Why most of our students are stopping their education after UG or PG? Only few people are getting into PhD. Why people are stopping with one post graduation? Because always they think that if I do second post graduation, what is that I am going to get? What is that I am going to get? Nobody is going to do second PhD. The thing is, they say that what is the advantage? So we are always looking at the advantage in terms of the return, in terms of cash or career. If there is no return on cash and career, why should I waste my resources? But lifelong learning is going to help you for so many other things. When your mind is learning new concepts over a period of time, that will open up so many windows. These windows will help you to do better in your own discipline. This is the advantage. I am not saying to pursue academic degrees. I am only saying at least to do certification. I wish every faculty member, for example, you are about 150 faculty here, 150 into per semester, one certification, per year 300 certifications. For 5 years, there should be 500 certifications from your college. Tomorrow, some NAP team comes, you say, our faculty have done 1500 certifications. That gives an indication that you are a lifelong learner. You have curiosity and enthusiasm to update yourself. That gives you a different opinion about your college. So I wish you should keep one certification, one publication per semester. Every semester, I think you can keep those benchmarks. One paper for one semester, one certification for one semester, attending one maybe workshop for one semester. I think you need to see in a 6-month semester at least you can keep 4 targets, each one of you. 150 people into 4, 600 targets. 600 into 2, 1200. 1200 into 5, 6000. 6,000 achievements you will have by the time of next presentation. If not 6,000, 3,000. Assuming 50% achieves their target. Or you achieve 50% of your target, you have 3,000 things to say. This is what I am trying to say. The next important question we need to ask ourselves: St.Ann, St. Boys, Begumpet Women's Degree College, St.Ann, St.Ann, St. Francis, St. Boys, Begumpet Girls Degree College. Why I should come to you? All of them are getting Usman University degrees. All of them are autonomous colleges. Why I should come to you? Tell me 3 reasons. Leaving all remaining 3 colleges, what I mentioned. Begumpet, St. Boys, St. Anne's, and St. Francis. Why I should come to you out of 4 colleges? If I conduct a survey, 90% of our students says it's close to my place. People are looking at accessibility than quality. Because quality is, they perceive that quality is uniform. They perceive that quality is uniform. So everywhere quality is same. That is what they perceive. But you should change their perception. No, you are superior. A student of Uppal also should be able to take the pain to come to you, leaving all those colleges in between. Little cover college, they prefer Uppal people, prefer little cover people. 80% side people, Gudimantapur, 80% these people prefer your college, Maharashtra. But I wish a student of a far off place also should come to our college. You tell me 3 strong reasons why somebody should come to us.
Learning environment.
Good learning environment.
Good infrastructure. Good infrastructure.
Good learning environment, how others will come to know. How you are telling the world that your learning environment is good. After coming here, I will experience your learning is good. Your learning environment is good. But how are you communicating this to outside world? Through social media, number 1. Number 2. Placement.
Progression.
Higher education. Okay. So what I am trying to tell you, getting into higher education is fine. Where are they going? This is a very interesting thing. How many of your students are into top 10 NIRF institutions? Top 10 NIRF institutions. Top 100 QS ranked institutions. I think this is going to tell us about our progression. The Getting into Usman University master's program may not be great progression. It is very automatic progression. So I wish, how many of your students are in University of Hyderabad for a period of last 5 years? I wish that number. I wish how many of your students have gone to JNU Delhi. And also one more component of this new accreditation process, competitive examinations also they have asked to this time. Earlier they were not asking competitive examinations, but not very significantly. Now I think they mentioned as one parameter. Earlier they were saying a placement, they are asking everything together. Competitive exam? And what is the score for that?
But there is an indicator.
Indicators, but now I think they have given more emphasis for that. Made more emphasis out of those student progression, they made one exclusive thing. Then they have mentioned about competitive. So how many of our students into civil services? How many of our students into Indian economic services? How many of our students have gone to ISI? I think how many of our students got into group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4? In the recent group 1 selection. How many of our students are able to get? See, I am not saying about only campus recruitment. Campus recruitment is only one part of it. And second part is employment, government employment. How many of our students are police inspectors, police constables? How many of our students are into sports? I think holistic, when we are thinking about holistic, I think the active learners, the active skill set suited to non-linear career path. The non-linear career path is, there is no connection between what I studied and what I am doing, but the learning of this subject is helping me to do whatever, wherever I am. The creativity, what you are teaching in your college, will make somebody as a movie director. A movie director may not be a graduate, but the kind of a creativity, the cultural environment, what you have, the opportunities, what you have given to someone, so that person may become a movie director or movie actor. This is how I think the non-linear path. Maybe a lyricist, maybe storyteller. I think you have a club called storytelling club. Then people start telling their stories. Then how many of them are able to publish their stories? This is what we are trying to understand. Then integration of multiple subjects, blending STEM with arts or humanities, blending theories, practices from various fields. So today, STEM and non-STEM are mutually exclusive. As on today, STEM and non-STEM are mutually exclusive. STEM is not STEM, non-STEM, non-STEM is not STEM. But we need to have a combination of math, physics, history. Math, physics, economics. We have something called math, economics, statistics, BA.
I studied.
You studied that? Okay. Math, economics, statistics. But I can also study math, physics, and maybe political science. I need that kind of a flexibility because you think these three subjects are interrelated, but I wanted to make my career only in maths. Or I wanted to prepare for civil services. For that, I would like to take history as a elective, but still I want math and physics. So what I am trying to do, you have those subjects already there in your place. You are not making any extra efforts. Only thing is you have to change your timetable. Students will go to the particular class. This is like this, you have curd and you have curd rice, but you don't have curd rice. You have a curd separately, you have a rice separately. But if I ask, do you have curd rice? It is not there. What you need is only you have to mix these two. Like that, you have all the subjects in place, but you are not giving enough flexibility to the students to choose those courses. Somebody can come for the program and you offer MPC. But somebody wanted to see MPH, math, physics, history. But again, we say bucket system. And state council says and commissioner says, no, we will give permission to a college only for this combination. They cannot change the combination. So too much of rigidity and rigidity from the government. And they will not give you. But for me, the student will take admission in BA. Student will take admission in BSc. Whatever subjects they wanted to study, let them study and use certificate accordingly. I think that should be the broader way of looking at this multidisciplinary education.
So then in that case, are we going to change the awarding as BS to everyone or BA to everyone?
That's it. No? These subjects based on the subjects what they study. Combination.
Or sciences, then BS.
One has decided BA. No? If you study BA, 2 courses could be arts, one can be science.
That's what majority.
Majority. Out of the 3, which are majority, that you have to decide. Subject matter student is coming, BS like kind of a place, everything is BS.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Everything is BS. But for us, we have BA, BSc, become BB. BA, become BA. See, for example, BA Commerce. Why it is become? BA Management. So all sciences, BSc, non-sciences, arts. If you keep these two things, it avoids lot of confusion. And BBA people say we don't require language because AICT is not asking for languages, so we don't want to teach language. If at all we teach communicative English, we don't never teach business communication, we never teach anything because AICT has given this mandate. So one graduate is studying 6 semesters language, one graduate is studying 4 semester language, one graduate is not at all studying language. So uniformity somewhere we need to bring in somewhere. Up to some extent, I'm not saying, but at least because a BBA student will be missing the opportunity of doing MA Telugu. Because you are not, but that fellow may become tomorrow a great Telugu teacher. But you are not permitting them to do so. So even I am from BBA, I should have an option to choose Telugu. That is what we are speaking about the multidisciplinary. That is the ultimate multidisciplinary. Today I think everything comes with a condition supply. So whatever I have been telling, everywhere I have to put 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and at the end I have to say condition supply. But I want to have some kind of a free flow of the things. There should not be too many restrictions. The student can choose any combination of courses. The project-based learning, projects can be given to individuals. These projects also, we can give multidisciplinary projects. Today we are giving projects pertaining to our subject also. But you make it multidisciplinary. If not offering multidisciplinary electives, at least you can probably have the combination. Same subject, political science subject, but you can have political science and economics combination project. Management and the political science combination. Somewhere you need to combine more than one subject when you are giving the project-based learning. Projects mostly are giving individuals, but I wish you should be giving to the groups. You should give to the group projects. Once you give the group projects, they will come to know how to work in the groups. How to work in the groups. Today teamwork. They should know how to work in the team. And you designate somebody as a team leader. So the team leader, that fellow will come to know what are the problems in leading the people. To make one person as a coordinator of the team. Then we will understand, she will understand what are the coordinating efforts. And at the end of the assignment, end of the course, you try to ask them to give reflections. This is a very popular thing in most of the premier institutions. People should write reflection. What is your reflection on the course? Other than academics, what is your learning? That's also very important. Most of the time we concentrate on academic output. Academic output is important, but non-academic, there are a lot of non-academic outputs. There are a lot of byproducts of doing project. I think this is going to. I think if you give a good project, that can be converted into a research paper. If you properly guide them, properly motivate them, I think that can be a research paper. Collaboration across departments and teams, so that students from different disciplines are involved. Sometimes what we can do, there can be a team teaching. A maths and physics teacher can go to the class and teach some concepts. Some concepts are multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. But one mathematics teacher cannot teach physics and maths. Physics teacher cannot teach both. But there is some mathematics component in physics component in mathematics. Or there is some economics component in political science component in economics. There is something called political economy. Political economy subject. So I require, a political science faculty and economics faculty to come together and need not be a team teaching, it could be a kind of an interaction and discussion. So unless the two teachers of different disciplines are coming together, how different students can come together? That is what I am trying to say. Problem solving approaches addressing complex problems that require multiple viewpoints. And sometimes we give a case study. There is no one uniform answer. Students also should appreciate there are multiple answers. The same problem can be solved in multiple ways. Flexibility of adapting real world application of knowledge. Because we said most of the real world problems are multidisciplinary in nature. Most of the real world problems are, see, for example, you are working in the bank, you should also know something about cloud. You should also something to know about server. Without knowing server, it's very difficult for me to compute. You know, when I am storing some data in my system, what it happens at the back end, I should know. I am in charge of ATM, putting the cash in and out, but I should know how ATM works, how it is connected to server, how it is connected to satellite, how it is connected to the system. And when I am doing some operation in the mobile, what happens behind? Or when I am placing an order in Amazon and I receive the material, but the student should be able to appreciate what happens behind placing the order to receiving the material, receiving the product. These kind of inputs are required for everybody. How Amazon works need to be known by every student, because irrespective of your background, you are using Amazon services. Amazon you are using now. Amazon Web Services. There is something called AWS. Amazon Web Service. We should know what is this cloud, how this cloud works. Always people say that, you know, how parallelly things are updated at multiple places. The once I do some transaction in my system, it is updated in all the systems. For example, I am a State Bank of India customer. So I go and do something, one transaction across the globe, from wherever you are, within no time, the data is updated. How it happens? You need not get into programming, you need not get into, but at least a schematic diagram you should be able to discuss. So this kind of sessions, other than academics, these kind of sessions also, some should be there. Okay. A software engineer understanding user psychology for better user experience design. Therefore, needs knowledge of design principles, psychology, or business management. See, for example, you are an automobile engineer. But you should know something about the human body, because you know how to design the seat. Because in which posture people can be comfortable. So that is something to do with maybe anatomy of the individual. So even an automobile engineer should know something about anatomy of human body. Otherwise, you know, it's very difficult. Sometimes, you know, you are automobile engineer, but you should know something about aesthetics. How do I design my car which can be attractive? Some color combinations, some graphics, some animations, some designs. That means, you know, one discipline, you are in one discipline, but you need to know something about. And I wanted to start a business. I am from political science, but I should know how some economics of it. What is cash inflow? What is cash outflow? What is return on investment? What is payback period? This is supposed to be known by every student who wanted to become an entrepreneur. They may not become entrepreneur today. They may become entrepreneur after 2 years. But after 2 years, the fellow is not in the college. Where do they learn? And today, most of the students may not know the difference between check and draft. Most of the graduates may not know the difference between check and draft, overdraft. They don't know. So what I am trying to tell you is something about banking, something about quick commerce. So today we are getting things from Dando, Blinkit within no time. But one should know what is the model of this Blinkit. Nothing to do with BBA, BCom. As a common individual, you should know what happens here. And I am a faculty of political science or economics. I should know installation of drivers in my computer. If I am unable to take a printout, I should be able to know how I can open my printer and I can see the cartridge, and again I can put the cartridge. There is some problem, system got stuck, I should know at least basic functions to make the system to work. So that means, you know, knowing something about everything. You know everything about your subject, but you also know something about other disciplines. That will make your life little more comfortable. Okay. The data analysis should be good at analyst should be good at statistics, business, and computer science. If I wanted to be a good data scientist, I should know statistics, business, and computer science. Even in IIM Calcutta, they used to hire anthropology faculty in management department. Anthropology, because they should also know that, you know, human behavior, human tendencies. That is where I think, you know, we need to understand. overall to understand overall consumer behavior. And of course, psychologists are anyway high. Psychologists. Sustainable development projects need integration of economics, ecology, and social. Usually, when I say sustainable development, always we say it is only environment. But this environment has impact on economic impact, ecological impact, and social impact, or even business impact. Business. Or even gender also they can bring in sustainable development. Gender also they can bring, and business we can bring, sociology we can bring, history we can bring. I think we can link all the subjects. There is one student did PhD in our university on business history in history department. In history department, he did PhD in business history, and at least he attended 2 or 3 IIMs for vacancy position. He could not make it, but at least he was eligible to apply for an IIM, but his PhD was on business history. And our University of Hyderabad, the communication faculty are professors in 3-4 IIMs. They have done MA communication, PhD communication. They are professors in IIMs. And few students of our English department are faculty of IIMs. English faculty. But they should know something about business, then that would be more advanced. And a fellow who has done PhD on maybe language in advertisement. But that was his topic. English PhD. He has done his PhD on language used in commercial advertising. So that made him to get a job in IA. So that interdisciplinary. If you look at only the subject, you may not be having opportunities outside the subject. But if you do something interdisciplinary in nature, then you have a job opportunity. In our own university, a physics PhD person worked in life science. A life science PhD person is working in chemistry, even as on today. The reason is the research topic is interdisciplinary, and there are not many people who are working in that area. And a fellow who has done physics PhD working in biology department as a biophysics teacher. Biophysics. And a statistics person did PhD in biostatistics area working in a medical school in UK. Statistics MSc, PhD. And our own university, statistics MSc and the PhD in management abroad, and now currently professor of IIM Bangalore. So this is what I am trying to tell you. Your PhD is one area, master's in one area, but the subject what you are doing in PhD in the multidisciplinary area, to get into that multidisciplinary area, you should introduce those courses when I am in PG, so that I develop some interest in other subjects. But right now what is happening, they are teaching pure in masters, and you are asking them to do applied in PhD. If you wanted to do applied PhD, your master program also should have some applied component. Okay. Then environmentalists should have knowledge about science, environment, laws, ethics, and policy. Public policy, for example. Today I have public policy is one emerging course. There they study management, economics, political science, sociology, environment, everything they study. Right. So I think this is all about multidisciplinary. Now I am going to list out the employability skills. Now you just try to, I'm not going, because these are very common. Employability skills are very common, you have been listening, that is where I'm only going to list out. Now you try to tell me employability skills are the transferable skills and the core competencies that enable individuals to gain and retain employment, perform effectively in the workplace, and adapt to changes. Employability skills are the essential skills, personal qualities, and values that enable you to thrive in any workplace. These are also called enterprise skills, communication skills, or workplace skills. Sometimes what happens, the kind of skills what you are providing is helping them to get the employment, but it's not helping them to continue the employment. Because you are training them only for the placement interview. How to face the interview and get the job. All your training is stopping there. After going there, some of them are quick learners, they are learning, some of them are not able to learn, and they are leaving the job, they are quitting the job, or they are removed from the job. So even after getting the job also, they should sustain the organization, the kind of a training what you are providing. So these are the skills all of you know: communication skills, teamwork and collaboration skills, self-management skills, problem solving and critical thinking skills, adaptability and learning to learn, lifetime learning and adaptability, problem solving, critical thinking, self-management, teamwork and collaboration, communication skills, digital literacy, time management and organization skills, professionalism and work ethic, entrepreneurial skills. Now we are saying something called green skills. Green skills. I think this is also very, very important. How you are environmental conscious. How what you are aware of sustainability. Right. And carbon footprints. Carbon footprints. I think you should know something about all these things. Okay. Then creativity, complex problem solving, critical thinking, virtual collaboration, social intelligence, new media literacy, lifelong learning, design thinking. Design thinking, lifelong learning, new media literacy, social intelligence, virtual collaboration, critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity. But if you wanted to have all these skills, it is not possible through single discipline. This is what I wanted to tell. It's impossible for us to give all the skills what I have listed to one discipline. Right. For example, problem solving skills. Problem solving skills. From where we get them? Problem solving skills. From where we get them? Mathematics. Mathematics. So we need to have some kind of a foundational course in mathematics. Irrespective of whichever course you are studying, I should know what is matrix. I should know what is vector. I should know what is differentiation, little bit. What is dy by dx, rate of change, delta x, delta y. Irrespective of the discipline where I am in, teach some basics of mathematics. That is solving two simultaneous equations. If not algebraically, through Excel. Through Excel. If I give a matrix, how to find a matrix inverse by using M inverse. If I give two matrices, how do we multiply two matrices with the mat mul? When I give two columns, how do I use sum product? These are all kind of skills. If somebody is not very good at numbers, manually solving them, teach them through Excel. So through Excel, you are teaching Excel computing skills and problem solving. Problem solving and Excel skills. See, for example, if I give you one data set, one should be able to make a pie chart. One should be able to draw histogram. You should know the difference between histogram and bar chart. And you are now 150 people sitting here. I say your average age is 35 and standard deviation is 5. What kind of interpretation I can make? For which you need not be MSc statistics there. Because the same statistics, central tendency and dispersion we have studied in high school. All of us have studied high school, mean, median, mode, standard deviation. But today what I am trying to tell you is, if I give you mean and standard deviation, what is the inference you can draw? What is the interpretation you can make? I think that kind of a knowledge is required for every student.
Problem solving that means mathematics problem.
Not
Or
mathematics.
the problems
No, no.
that are arising during employment.
Not all. Within the subject, multidisciplinary. Within the subject, not necessarily mathematics. I am only giving analytical reasoning, logical reasoning, rational thinking when I am speaking. Say, for example, decision making process. Decision making process. Irrespective of the course you belong to, one should know what is the decision making process. And what are the decision making models available. For example, there is something called impulsive decision making, dependent decision making, avoidant decision making, rational decision making. I think these are the simple things, in day out we have been doing. But irrespective of your discipline, you are supposed to make decisions. Irrespective of your discipline, you are supposed to make investment. You should know some investment, the personal finance, something like we can call personal finance management. A lot of students, they get campus equipment. They don't even need to pay any education loan, but they work for 3-4 years. By the time they are getting married, they don't have any balance in their account. They keep on spending money. They have 3 credit cards, 4 credit cards, lavishly they spend everything. Finally, they start borrowing money from everywhere, and they end up having too much of balance in the credit card. They are unable to pay the interest, and they do all manipulations because they were not taught how to manage their finances once they get into employment. Once they get into employment, how do I manage my finances? I think personal finance is one concept. And knowing about constitution. Irrespective of any course, I think people should know something about constitution, something about environment, something about gender, something about social inclusion, something about social inclusion. I think most of us are having a lot of concerns. Either way, some of us are for exclusion, some of us are for inclusion because of our backgrounds. I think one should have a kind of an overview of inclusivity. What is inclusivity? What is social inclusion? I think somebody was asking why reservation. I think that also should be discussed in the class. Why reservation? Yes. Why inclusivity? Yes. Why gender? Why gender as a subject? And some language or some literature. Some language, some literature. This is all 50% of the courses are suggested. The entire proposed UGC curriculum, 50% discipline specific. This 50% are all these courses which can be useful to have a quality life for me and a quality for society. So tomorrow, they are not only getting they are going to society, and we need to have a better society. I think we send some students with half knowledge, semi knowledge, no knowledge. I think they are going to cause a lot of damage to us. So I think we should be able to give them the life skills, not only employability skills, life skills. I think in your own workplace tomorrow, you have done so much of work, but you are fired, you are discriminated, you are not given enough recognition. How do I handle the situation? You train them. All such hypothetical trainings. A woman, how she can face the challenges of the married, post-married life. Somewhere I think there should be some kind of a orientation, guidance, life skills, survival, basically survival skills for everyone now. Right. Then the next generation skills, there are also some kind of skills. Technology has created a major shift in the nature of jobs. Progression of AI is challenging the existing job roles. However, it has opened avenues for many new employment opportunities. According to Forbes report, there are 10 skills that will rule the job market for the next decade. Digital literacy, that's what I have been telling from the morning. Digital literacy, that is computational skills. Digital literacy, right? Then, can you see that? Data literacy. Data literacy. Okay, data literacy, that's what I have been telling. Irrespective of your background, I think you should know data. How to manage data. Say, for example, what is big data? I think you have been in and out listening that word. Big data, big data, big data. What is big data? You should know some basics of big data. There is something called veracity, velocity, volume. I think there are 4 V's of big data. These are very general kind of things one should have awareness about it. Data literacy. Then critical thinking. Critical thinking. That news and social media bubbles and information overload. Critical thinking is the top of the list of the most vital skills to cultivate for success. See, for example, for the same news is presented in multiple ways in multiple newspapers and multiple media. But how to extract what is the fact? Well, they are influenced by so many influences, social influence. But how do I differentiate and what is bad, what is good, what is how I think I should be able to see, extract the truth out of it. I think somewhere, we need to probably, the information, too much of information we have, how to overload. For example, social media. I think today most of our students are addicted to social media. So how do we do that? Or since we are unable to change them, but how can we use social media as a learning tool? They are anyway in social media, but let us use social media as a learning tool. Social media as a teaching tool. Then emotional intelligence. That's what I was telling. When you break down, when you have a problem, when you are discriminated, when you are neglected, when you are not given enough importance. You thought you have done a wonderful job, but you are not getting enough credit what you have done. Under such circumstances, people will break down emotionally. But how to come out of it? You should tell the students that this is very common at workplace. We are not preparing the students how to survive in at workplace, how to survive in the society, for example. Then creativity. So creativity is being killed systematically from LKG to PhD as of now. In our current education system, we have been killing the creativity. But now this is the time for us to restore the creativity. Today, if you look at most of the advertisements, whatever we are making, those texts are written by foreign creators, not Indian creators. Because Indian creators lost their creativity. Most of them. Because systematically from LKG to PhD, we have been asking them to reproduce whatever is taught in the class. If somebody is doing some innovation, we are not giving them good marks. Somebody is doing experimentation, we are not giving them good marks. You wanted to do the marks, they write in toto whatever you give the notes. This is the challenge. So this is creativity. Collaboration. I think we are in the era of collaboration. So nature of collaboration and teamwork is changing as teams evolve into hybrid work. Fully remote workers, contractors. I think you need to work with multiple cultures. When especially you are working hybrid, and you need to your project team comprises of people coming from multiple countries, multiple continents. So how do I work with them? Then flexibility. Are you open to change? The workplace of the future change is going to be even more of a driving factor than it is today. I think today whatever we are discussing from today morning is flexibility. But lot of us are having reservations about this flexibility. Somebody says too much of flexibility leads to too many problems. Too much of freedom leads to too many problems. Whether our system can absorb this many changes. Or when we give this kind of a flexibility, if it is not properly implemented, it will be a disaster. I think at one point in time, we feel older version is better than the newer version. So these are all challenges we have. Continuously update new technologies, rising automation, rapidly evolving pace of work. I think now we have ChatGPT. So under the ChatGPT era, how do we handle our lives? So everything is ChatGPT. And how do we teach? It's a problem. I think students, whatever they have problem, I think they have better solution to ChatGPT within no time. Through mobile also, I can access my ChatGPT is doing translation. And if I wanted to send a message to someone, I write in whatever way I like and I paste in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is improving the kind of a language. Translation. I think no more they require translators. Translation is all done by software. Right? Either Grammarly is there to check the grammar. I think we have all kinds of AI tools. All kinds of AI tools. But in these circumstances, what is the kind of existence of a teacher? How a teacher can exist? How a student can exist in future? So today, even if you wanted to write a program, your ChatGPT is giving the code. And if you write the code and ChatGPT is telling you the mistakes in the code. And I was there as a board of studies member of one private business school, very leading business school. So they have done one experiment. They have scanned the scripts and asked ChatGPT to evaluate with the given key. And they have done manual. And finally, they got only less than 1% between teacher assessment and ChatGPT. Only less than 1% error. So next semester they wanted to do full-page assessment by ChatGPT. So I think ChatGPT is coming in that kind of a way. ChatGPT is translating, ChatGPT is setting question paper now. You ask ChatGPT to set one question paper of so and so standard and upload the syllabus. And you upload the thesis, it is giving you the report.
Along with Bloom's taxonomy.
Bloom's taxonomy it is giving. You give the research question, it is making research proposal. You give the research proposal, it is making the thesis. So now ChatGPT is doing everything. Then I think how do we handle now? Current generation students, current generation teachers, and review of literature. You give the topic and it is giving you review of literature chapter or giving you 10 best papers in the last few months published in that area. They are giving the citation. And if I upload my CV and ask ChatGPT critically evaluate the research profile of Rashtraker Vellankota, it is now giving you a detailed analysis of right from my citations, my H index, my scopus papers, my web of science papers, my research areas, my impact factors, Q1, Q2, Q3 class, everything it is giving. It is all depends on how I am going to ask. So Google itself is complicated features like now ChatGPT is making more. So how do we live with that kind of system? And leadership, of course, we have been discussing time management. So how are we teaching our students about this time management skill? Very recently, one student was telling they uploaded their whole data. It has given data analysis and interpretation. Just they uploaded the Excel sheet with all the data, and it has given the output and interpretation, and also they have also cited the earlier works. These findings are in line with something, not in line with something. Discussion also it has done. Okay, bibliography it is making, and you said upload the text, and it is giving you the bibliography. You need not worry about bibliography. From the author here, you have mentioned the content, it is giving the bibliography. So this is what, and you give the research problem, it is making the question. But how effective it is the next question. But it is giving something to start with. At least to start with, it would be a starting point. And the time management, of course, how you are teaching your students about managing time, managing resources. and curiosity and continuous learning. I think this curiosity is very important for somebody to do research. What is the one important quality of a researcher is curiosity. If we were to pick just one skill that I think everyone must cultivate is curiosity. So I think how your academic structure, your curriculum is encouraging this curiosity. Okay. So the traditional education systems often center the role of memorization and standardized testing can leave graduates ill prepared for the workforce. Today the problem is memorization, rote learning, standardized testing. The testing is standardized. Okay. And leaving graduates ill prepared for the workforce. They are having excellent critical knowledge, but they are not having practical knowledge. The ever-changing job market requires employees to be adaptable, not just academic knowledge. Employers today look for candidates who can hit the ground running, minimize the learning curve, and contribute to the organization from day one. So they wanted to have the job ready. Today, if I recruit somebody from tomorrow, that fellow should be able to work with me. I did not spend 6 months training. I did not give 6 months training to the students because they are not learning anything in the college. Now, our job is how do we make them industry ready, market ready, society ready, job ready, whatever you call. Tomorrow, your student goes abroad to Harvard or Stanford. They need to compete with American students, Australian students, Japanese students, Korean students. So, your curriculum should be able to compare with the Japanese curriculum and Chinese curriculum and Australian curriculum, Canada curriculum. But at the same time, we should not lose the local realities, local needs. We need to also balance this. You cannot totally move away from the ground realities. Okay. So one is CBCS, one is CBCS, flexible academic structures. But unfortunately, though you are autonomous, you are not autonomous. For the namesake, you are autonomous, but you are not really autonomous. You are not given full freedom. Interdepartmental collaboration. And this is an example from Harvard, MIT, I think that kind of examples are mentioned here. Interdepartmental collaboration. Real world learning methods. Then role of internships. Internships are to be mandated. Skills developed through projects. I think internship is one part, project is one part, interdisciplinary, interdepartmental approach. Innovative assessment methods. I think today whatever methods we are doing for assessment, they are all outdated. When we were students, we have written pen and paper exam. Today, after 30 years, our students are also writing the same. Right? So why not a term paper could be intern exam? One term paper is intern exam. One seminar is intern exam. One quiz is one intern exam. One field project is one intern exam. One research paper is one intern exam. And why should we give too much emphasis for intern exam? You can give 20, 20, 20. Intern also can be 20 marks. Why it should be 70 marks, 60 marks, 80 marks? Too much of pressure on the student. Intern means they become panic. Midterm they are okay, but intern they become panic. But in both the cases, only the same teacher evaluates the script, especially in our university. As a teacher, we give internal exam, we give exam. But still, people have some kind of a fear. So let us reduce the weightage on the intern. Why they should remember 100% of the syllabus in intern? And why not we go for open book exam? Why people should buy out so many formulas? No, that is you trying. That is where I am saying you prepare the students for the tougher problems than the easy problems. The biggest problem is today we are training our students for the known problems. In the life they are facing unknown problems. Throughout our career, we have been training the students for solving the known problems.
Maybe government department exams, they open book system.
Not only government, BITS Pilani has open book exam. Some IIMs are having open book exam. IITs are having open book exam. Not a foreign university. Yeah. And as you said in the open book exam, it is only open book, but not the questions are straight away available in the book. Then you see the change the question. But my question is, since IT statistics, madam is sitting here, why people should buy heart all the formulas? What I do for my statistics exam, I can do the formula sheet. But what I am doing is I am not giving the left hand part. I give only right hand part. At least they should know this formula is for what. But they should not spend too much of time in by-hearting the formula and solving it. I need students to make better interpretation. Technology can do a better job in calculation than us. The technology is poor, computer is poor at interpretation. I think we need to give more skills for interpretation skills rather than solving skills. But we are spending a lot of our time. For example, somebody will spend half an hour time to calculate the standard deviation. They can't write interpretation of standard deviation one line. But I require you solve standard deviation in 1 minute and you discuss on 30 minutes about the interpretation in the class also. But today I think we keep on making them replica of computers. But definitely at any point in time we may not be as efficient as a computer. But we need to train the people where computer cannot do, where AI cannot do. AI is good at emotions. It is good at IQ, but not at EQ. But you make your students strong in EQ. And the reflective practices. That is, asking the students to probably write down their reflections about courses, classes, creating learning ecosystems, innovation labs, entrepreneurship cells, and makeup spaces, collaboration with industry that we have been discussing, importance of ethical thinking, academic honesty, academic integrity, ethical thinking, values, beliefs. But finally, it has also become like another academic exam. When ethics and values in the academic exam, it's like open book exam, people like gender is also has become like another exam. They have by heart the things and write. Communication is also another academic subject exam. What is communication, type of communication, process of communication. They get 90 marks in communication paper, but they get 0 marks in actual communication. Actual communication, they get 0, but they get 90 marks in the written paper. So even communication skills also you are testing with pen and paper exam. I think somewhere, we need to come out of that and personal development, in fact, builds character, values, identity. Challenges in implementation, all of you know. Faculty unprepared for interdisciplinary teaching. First resistance comes from this program. Yeah. So faculty unprepared for interdisciplinary teaching, institutional culture often resists curriculum overhaul. The management wanted to change, but faculty will oppose. Or management will oppose. Right. Accreditation and funding models feel discipline specific. Today, some disciplines attract more funding. Some disciplines never. For example, sciences are having a lot of ESP. Social sciences hardly we have ICSS. Only earlier we had UGC, but now UGC stopped giving projects. Only one ICSS. There are thousands and thousands of applications and the grants are in hundreds. But how do we? But for sciences, the same faculty we have multiple funding sources. DST, DBT, CSR, so many. I think the funding is also mostly becoming discipline specific. Then accreditation and funding models are still discipline specific. Then institutional support for faculty development. This is one question NAC also going to ask. For faculty empowerment, how much money you are spending? 0. Most of the places it is 0. For publication, I wanted to publish, but article processing charge some 20,000 rupees. Institution will not support. I need to go for international conference. Institution will not pay my airfare. I wanted to attend some advanced workshop. Institution has to pay some 20,000 rupees participation fee. They don't pay. So this is faculty empowerment, capacity building. Pilot interdisciplinary programs before scaling. I think you need not implement overall. I think you start with one program. You scale it up subsequently. Don't do everything at one go. Leverage technology for blended learning models. Ashoka University's Young India Fellowship promotes the liberal arts with leadership. Okay. So as the job market continues to evolve with the new industries and technologies constantly emerging, the importance of employment is becoming increasingly evident. Graduates who possess not only academic knowledge but also a practical skill set, they are likely to succeed. This fosters innovation and adaptability. To address adaptability gap, supports workforce readiness. There is a need for systematic change in curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. We are discussing about curriculum, but even the way you teach, the way you assess, they are also very important. Since the future belongs to agile, ethical, and interdisciplinary thinkers, educators should collaborate across disciplines. I think you start doing collaborative projects. One department of science, one with social studies. Like a project. If there is no external funding, at least institutions should give some minimum funding for them to do the project. Begin with. Right. And also one department people should go to other department and teach. One department will go to teach other department as part of their workload. But today for workload consideration, department is a unit. For me, I say college should be the unit. Wherever I teach doesn't matter.
We are doing that.
That's what I'm saying. But today, everywhere, for example, I am in management department in my university. Computer science people ask me to teach a course, but my department says no. It should be above your workload. First, you have to fulfill your workload in the department. That is the rule. Most of the unwritten rule. But I always feel the institution should be one unit, not the department. All of you are working for the institution, not for the department. Your institution is flexible, but I'm saying 90+% of the institutions are not flexible on this. Even department, administration is flexible, head is not flexible.
That is also
Right. And tomorrow, even in the course registration, I think the same course to be taught by 3-4 takers. You give the liberty to the students to register that course with across the disciplines they can register. But again, there is a problem. Some courses are highly popular, some are not at all popular. So there will be jealousy that he is very junior, she is very junior, how she can have so many candidates? I'm so senior and I'm not getting any candidates. So let us not do this. Let us not give choice to the students. Only we start allocating. And A section, B section is there, head will take A section, all grade students. These kind of things across the institutions it will happen. Right. Then when students should explore new domains to stay curious, be creative, flexible and mindful. Right. So this is what I wanted to tell you. And if you have any quick questions, I can address. But as I told you, I have given you 100 things, but if you implement it, 10 it is fine. Yeah, you can say it. What is that? What attendance? No, zero attendance. No, zero attendance. Our university we mandate, but we are liberal at the end. Everybody writes the exam. But there is no attendance for faculty in our university from the inception. Last 50 years, we never signed the attendance. No, which Pilani, I think they are doing for executive program, they are doing, not for regular programs. Some regular programs they are doing, but not for all the programs. But the executive programs extend continuing. For example, I am doing this work integrated learning program. They are doing twice. Executive education they are doing twice. So sometimes what happens is if you wanted to do twice, you may not be having enough applications. Our government also permitted now. Very recently, admissions twice in a year. UGC permitted now. They may go. Some institutions may go now. The biggest problem is if you do physical classes twice in a year, overnight you cannot double your capacity. Overnight you cannot double your faculty strength. That is the major challenge because which like kind of institutions, IITs, they can have admissions equal number of attendance in both the sessions, but they may not be able to meet the requirements of infrastructure and faculty.
Can I say something?
Please.
In essence, we have emulated the American university system.
Correct.
There's nothing new about this.
Correct.
But back then, we have emulated the American system or the UK system.
Correct. So what we are doing is, when we are speaking about, our students are supposed to go abroad. Because now I think whole world has become a village. So tomorrow our students, the majority of every year, several lakhs of students are going from India to abroad for further education. So they should not have any difficulty there. And tomorrow multinational companies from Google, Microsoft, they are having global recruitment. So our students also should have those graduate attributes, GAs, which are universally there. That is where I think our students should have such kind of a competitive skills which they can compete with Korea, Japan, Germany, Canada, US. That is the idea. But one only problem is those systems are highly homogeneous. Japan is a homogeneous country. Germany is homogeneous. Because one country, one language. But in our country, one country, several languages. So there is a problem in studying in regional language.
Many economic considerations. Sorry, I need to implement lessons there. Can I come and teach University of Hyderabad?
Subjected to your eligibility, meeting the eligibility criteria. Recruitment criteria you have to fulfill. That is between right now also when we have started our faculty, we give an advertisement and we are getting faculty from some private colleges and teaching.
For instance, our chemistry department, we have some exchange program with St.Ann
that there should be some kind of a memorandum of understanding between your college and our university. Number one. Number two, you should meet the prerequisites. So there is mutual prerequisites. Very simple. So they invited a set of faculty from University of Hyderabad. They will not invite all 400. So you have the criteria. Who can meet their criteria? They have identified. Only those people are called here. Similarly, if I think there is a data science professor who is very eminent, tomorrow there is a subject requirement, I can call that madam and ask her to come and teach. That can happen.
At the same time, the management also should be flexible to allow these people to keep this NEP equipment.
Yeah, basically for these kind of reforms, commitment of the top level management is essential. Without top level management, nothing can happen. So without top level management commitment,
What the major examination reforms in the system? Anything?
examination reforms is that cannot be standardized. We can innovate any kind of evaluation. Say subject specific. Cannot be one kind of a model for all the exams. See, if you are running the car, looking at the rear view mirror, you cannot reach the destination. So most of our colleges are like that. We look at the rear view mirror and how far we have traveled instead of where to go.
So we can come up with any innovative exam evaluation patterns.
There are many, madam. For example, online exam. They are not prescribed. They are prescribed. You can whatever is feasible for your college, for your program, for your course. Some courses require pen and paper. Some courses require oral presentation. Some courses require assignment. Some courses require physical project. Some courses require online exam. Could be.
I mean, part of the courses require different assessments.
Yes, sir. In one course, one midterm exam is multiple choice question. One midterm exam is term paper. One midterm exam is seminar. One midterm exam is a research paper. Yeah.
It is the full choice of the person.
And especially teacher. Technically, a teacher should decide what should be the evaluation criteria for my subject. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of a freedom. But at University of Hyderabad, we have that freedom. As a teacher, we can decide what is our evaluation pattern. But still, there is a clause of 60-40 that we are not. That is not negotiable. 40 internal, 60 external. But the way we can conduct the assessment, we can do. Anything else?
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and thought-provoking address on multidisciplinary education and employability skills. Your reflections on the importance of breaking down silos between disciplines and fostering an integrated, holistic approach to learning were truly inspiring. Your emphasis on how multidisciplinary education enhances critical thinking, innovation, and adaptability, key attributes for employability in today's dynamic world, was both timely and impactful. We're deeply grateful for your valuable presence and for sharing your profound wisdom with us, sir. Your session has undoubtedly enriched our understanding and broadened our perspective. I would like to request our respected principal, Dr. Sister Vijayarani, Dean Academics and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Shrikala ma'am, to please come forward and felicitate Professor Rajshekhar Velakkadaji with a memento as a token of our appreciation for his presence and invaluable contribution to today's workshop. Thank you, sister. Thank you, ma'am. Let's wait for lunch now. Lunch is served in the second quadrangle near chemistry department. I request all of you to assemble back as soon as you complete the lunch.
Okay, I wish you all the best, but this is very ambitious. But I'm supposed to deliver, I delivered, but I know a lot of practical implications. If you implement everything, 10% of it within next 5 years, it is a great.
Some informed decisions we can take.
Yes, sir. Next 5 years, if you implement 10 to 20%, it's a great issue. Until I ask,